Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the 2025 GeoGuessr World Championship, which took place last weekend in Copenhagen. I have done a video like this the last couple of years as well. And similarly to those ones, I'm not going to edit this video. I'm just going to kind of brain dump for 10 or 15 minutes and talk about how I felt about everything. And hopefully, I don't stumble too many times, but I think it should be all right. So, as many of you know, I went to the tournament this year as a caster rather than a player. I was a player in the tournament in 2023 and 24, but I failed to qualify this year, and I was fortunate enough to be invited as a caster instead. And the GeoGuessr World Championship is the best part of the year every year. And I say that every time because it's like the entire community is in the same place at the same time. All of these people who you spent so much time interacting with online, they're suddenly in the same place and you get to meet all of them. And it's just an amazing community of like minded people with a shared passion. And it's just the greatest thing ever. But this year in particular, like I'm not exaggerating when I say that Friday and Saturday were the two best days of my life, which is an insane thing to be able to say given I've been alive for over 25 years, but it's true. Um, it's still crazy to me that I'm able to say that, but everything fell into place so incredibly perfectly that it was hard to believe. I've never really experienced anything like this before, but it was like even down to like the tiniest things. Like on the flight back, I was going to be in a middle seat, but they were like, "Oh, we're not actually seating anyone here, so we'll move you to this window seat with nobody next to you." And it was like, what? This never happens. Or like the one person that I wanted to talk to but didn't really get a chance to talk to, I happened to run into that person outside the passport line in the Copenhagen airport. It was like everything was like so perfect. I was like, I don't even know how it's happened this way. But I met everybody that I wanted to meet, including Jack Sucks at Life, who was there with his girlfriend Becky. Such nice people. And I've done a couple of collabs with him in the past, but it's amazing that I got to meet him. He was so nice, and I got to meet the sidemen. I got a picture with the sidemen, and it's like, I don't know, to some people maybe that's not a big deal, but I watched a lot of the sidemen when I was in high school, like a decade ago, and I got to tell four of the sidemen to their faces how much their videos meant to me back then. Um, and still do. I mean, like they're such inspirations for me. They're living proof that the hard work can and does pay off for a lot of people. And it's like I got to say that to them, and then Harry told me to my face that he liked my casting, and it's like, dude, that's crazy. I mean, I watched so much. I watched so many of his FIFA videos back in the day. It's like it's just absolutely nuts to me that I was able to get an opportunity like that. I had so much free time as well to interact with people because I was only casting half the time, and most of the other people on the talent team were like constantly working, and I was literally free half the time. So I was just like hanging around the community area and the venue, just talking to people. And there were so many people, of course, who came up to me and they told me how much they appreciated my videos, or they told me they saw me on Brady or Tudor, or they told me they liked my casting or whatever it was. And it just means so much to hear that from people. And I know that I say this all the time, but it never gets old. And it's like, it's the reason I do this in the first place. The amount of support that I get from people is just incredible. And to have everybody there in person in the same place is like overwhelming in such a good way. Um, and I normally like I don't love social situations where, it's crowded and it's loud and I don't know anybody because it's like I don't know what to say to people. I'm going to be awkward, whatever. But this is like completely different. It's like my social battery like it doesn't run out at the same rate because it's like there's already a topic of conversation with all these people. Like they know who I am, and it's like the most wholesome and wonderful thing, and it comes so easily when it's in a situation like that that it's the best thing ever. It truly is. So going as a caster, I got to experience basically everything that the players got to experience, but I didn't have to worry about the pressure that I felt when I went as a player. And to those of you who know me well, that's a significant thing because in 2023 and 24, like I was super stressed. And as many of you know, I find it easy to get down on myself or be overly self-critical when things don't go my way. And that's something I've been trying to work on for a long time, and I think I have gotten better at it. But at the same time, it's like when the tournament doesn't go well and when I lose most of my matches, and like when I feel like I'm letting down the people who are rooting for me, the people who, got up in the wee hours of the morning to watch me, it's like that sucks, right? And even if I'm not truly letting them down, it can feel like I am. But when I'm casting the tournament, that's not a concern anymore because it's like when you go as a player, it's almost guaranteed to end in disappointment. But as a caster, it's like I just have a job that I need to do and I know that I can do it, right? I've done this for months with Bloom, in the World League. I've gotten lots of experience doing that. I went to Dallas and it went great. And it was like, I've done this before. I can do this again. And I had all the confidence in the world that I could. And that makes such a difference. And honestly, that it's like a positive feedback loop. When you're so confident that you can do it, you end up doing it better anyway. So it's amazing to be able to experience the event again. I got to do almost everything that the players got to do. We had this like dinner on a boat thing that we did, and it's like I got to come along on that. I guess the only difference was I didn't get a new Google Pixel Pro, but other than that, it was. I mean, I got every cool part of the event without having to worry about the stress, and it was like the best of both worlds. And I just feel so lucky that I was able to do that. Um, and I also have to bring up like I was talking with Toby, who has been casting in esports for over a decade, and he was talking to CG and Bloom and me and saying like you guys are so lucky because this was a big event, right? There were thousands of people in the crowd. There were hundreds of thousands of people watching online. Toby said that this was the third biggest event he has ever done in terms of scale, and he's been doing this for over a decade. This was the second live event I have ever done, right? I did Dallas and I went straight to this, and he was like, dude, you are skipping so many steps. There are people who work in this profession for their whole lives and they don't get an opportunity like this. And I was listening to him thinking, he's totally right. Like that's actually crazy how fortunate I am to have been given this chance. But like it went, I mean, it really went well. And it's like I really feel like I took the chance as well as I could, and that's such an incredibly nice feeling. Another thing I wanted to touch on was like not only was it great that I was given this chance because GeoGuessr didn't have to give me this chance, but also like the path that I took to get here is so crazy because of course I was a player the last 2 years as I mentioned, and 20 of the top 24 players in the 2024 World Championship got invited to the World League. Only the bottom four did not. After the World Championship, CG made a video effectively retiring from competitive GeoGuessr and saying he's not gonna do it anymore. And I did a similar video where I talked about how disappointed I was with how the tournament went. But I didn't like officially retire in that video because I still hadn't completely ruled out the possibility of coming back. And to be quite honest, had GeoGuessr invited me to come back and play in the World League, I think I would have said yes. And so that means, again, if they had decided to just invite all 24 of us, or had I finished anywhere but the bottom four in that tournament, I would have ended up in the World League. I would have gotten clobbered. And don't leave a comment saying that I wouldn't have, because 100% I would have. There's no way I would have come anywhere close to qualifying for the World Championship, if we're being honest, because I don't have the same motivation to study that I used to. And had that happened, I would never have casted. I mean, what happened was once I realized I wasn't going to be in the World League, I immediately reached out to GeoGuessr and was like, do you guys have any casting opportunities? And like a couple days later, I was a World League caster. They were just like, yeah, like go ahead, you can just be one of the main casters for the World League, which was crazy. I didn't think it was going to happen like that. But like if I was in the World League, I wouldn't have been able to cast the World League. It would have been probably Bloom and CG just doing the casting for the Americas time slot. I would have been playing. It would have ended in disappointment, of course, and I wouldn't have casted in Dallas. I wouldn't have casted in Copenhagen. I would probably have gone to the tournament, but I think I would have been nothing more than a spectator. And it's just crazy to me to think how different of a timeline that is and how close that was to happening. But it's just like things have a way of working out. So it's like getting knocked out of the tournament and playing so badly in the tournament ended up being a blessing in disguise. And it's just, I don't know. I find it funny the way that things like that work, but I just feel so lucky and so blessed that things happened the way they did and that I was given this opportunity. Um, but it's like, I guess I want to come back to just the bigger picture. It really feels, and I feel this way more now than I did at any point before, but it really feels like I've found my people and I've found my calling. And it's like this is what I'm passionate about more than anything else in my life. I do other stuff. I have hobbies, I have friends, I have a job, right? A part-time job. I do tutoring and that's fun too. But like there's nothing in my life that makes me more passionate and more happy than the GeoGuessr community. Um, and I just, again, I feel so lucky to be a part of it. And coming to this tournament every year, like I said, it is the best part of the year, hands down. And the casting in particular, like, of course, the YouTube and everything else, and just going to the tournament, interacting with people is amazing. But the casting as well, it really feels like I found something that I'm good at. And I think that the general public seems to agree with that. I got so many compliments, as did Bloom, about our casting in particular, and people really, really love us as a duo. And again, it just means so much to hear that from people. It's like I haven't been doing this for that long, but to hear from so many people that like I'm their favorite caster is like genuinely, I can't even express how much it means to me to hear stuff like that. It's so nice and it's so gratifying. And I do have to like, well, okay, I'll get to that later, but um it's just I don't know. The casting is it's like it's natural, it's such a joy, and it's again, I feel like I can do it. I'm confident that I can do it, and that is it's the best thing ever. Like genuinely finding something that you're like I'm not really worried that I'm going to screw it up. It's like I've done this. I've talked about this game on YouTube for 4 years. It's like it's all I have to do. I just have to talk about the game and people are like you have the best insights of anyone and I'm like I'm just doing what I've always done. It's not it's not even difficult for me and it's so it's so great to feel that way. So, I guess the last thing that I want to do is give shout outs to people. Now, first of all, I want to shout out the talent team who were there at the tournament. They were amazing. Every single one of them, like the desk, Rachel, Ziggy, and CG. CG in particular, I want to shout out just because, like, again, CG is somebody whose path in terms of competitive GeoGuessr has been very, very similar to mine. He's also somebody I feel is very similar to me in the way that we feel about a lot of stuff and the way that we tend to be hard on ourselves, etc. Again, I relate a lot to CG in a lot of ways. He did a fantastic job on the desk, and it was so so good to see him again. It's like he's such a legend. Um, and again, this isn't this isn't a knock on Rachel and Ziggy or whatever. It's just like CG in particular is a guy that I relate to very much, and I'm so happy to have been able to work with him. And then Paula, of course, did a fantastic job as the stage host. He was so so good. There was a lot of dead time that he had to fill. He did an amazing job with that. Toby and Gelotris, of course, legends, amazing casters as well. Toby, such a role model. Again, he's done this for over 10 years, and it's really helpful to hear just his advice and guidance and just talking about all of this meant so much. And then, of course, I have to shout out Bloom for not only just being such an amazing guy, but also an amazing caster. And like the reason that the duo of Bloom and me works so well, part of the reason at least, is because he makes it so easy for me to do what I do best. Like, he fills the dead time. He does like the intros and the outros and all of that stuff. And he knows when I'm going to want to talk, and he lets me talk at that time. And it's like I'll just rattle off about some moving clues or whatever the heck that I see. But it feels like all of the transitional stuff he handles so incredibly well because he's been doing this longer than me. He's so good at that part of it. The reason it flows so naturally is because he facilitates that, and he makes it so easy for me. So like, I'm not saying that my job is easy, but I do feel like my job, I felt like I had the easiest job of anyone there. It's like I just got to talk about the rounds, and I've been talking about rounds on YouTube for so long. So Bloom, again, thank you so much. You're a legend. Everyone on the talent team, absolute legend. I hope to work with all of them again. They are the best. And finally, like, uh, actually, okay, first of all, I also have to thank GeoGuessr and Black Molly Entertainment and all of them, because again, the fact that I even had the chance to do this in the first place is thanks to them. They took a chance on me when I DM'd them back at the start of the World League saying, "Do you guys have any casting opportunities?" They did not have to put me on the World League casting team. They didn't have to give me any opportunities at all, but they did. And it means so much that they did, because now I'm here, and it's like if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't be. So thank you so much to GeoGuessr. If any of you guys are watching, I really appreciate it. And finally, I just have to shout out everyone, like everyone who was in Copenhagen, everyone who has ever watched my channel or left an encouraging comment or anything. It's like the reason that I do this, any of this, is because of the amazing support that I get from you guys. And I know I've said this a lot of times, but it's true. It's like the support is everything. So I'm not able to shout out people individually here, because if I did, there would be like hundreds of people who I would want to shout out, and I would inevitably forget names. But again, it's like if I have interacted with you, if you have interacted with me, like if you were at the tournament, whatever, like you are in that group of people. But thank you all for just being here for me and cheering me on, and all of the encouraging words and everything. It means more to me than I can express. So thank you so much. And yeah, I guess that's about all I have to say for you guys. I cannot wait for what's to come, whatever that may be, whatever form it may take. I don't know where the esport is going to go from here, but I hope to still be a part of it in the same capacity that I was this last weekend. And I hope to keep, you know, making videos, interacting with you guys, just making as many of you happy as I can with my videos, with my casting and everything else. So yeah, can't wait for whatever is coming. I would not be here without you all. So thank you again so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.